that transition from player to coach?
For me, it's not difficult, you know. Youngsters and be around, you know, the Pollards and the Bravo, my good friends, you know. So I really enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to some good years ahead.
Come on, when you're out there warming up, you must want to put some kit on and get out there yourself.
No, actually I come to terms with it. I'm not playing anymore, but I'm here to support the guys in any way I can, you know, working with the bowlers, working with Ali Khan, seeing the progress, working alongside the senior players who played before me is something weird, but as I said before, I'm enjoying it. You know, Nikita Miller is here with us also, so we have a good combination, so we're looking forward to it.
I'm wondering if you caught the games yesterday, if you had a look at that surface and what you managed to glean.
Yes, I watched the games yesterday. From watching the wicket, it's not an easy wicket to bat on. You know, you have to give yourself some time and try and assess the game and bat deep in the innings. Whoever is in, make sure that they bat deep into the innings. And also for the bowlers, you try to bowl plenty dot ball. Put the batsman under pressure and then the wickets will come.
Thanks, Keon. Go well today.
Thanks very much.
Kevin Cooper, as fluent as ever, very intelligent cricketer, now passing on his wealth of experience to the TKR. The umpires, the hero Clint getting the match ball. Umpire Leslie Reifer Jr. and Joel Wilson will have the responsibility to preside in today's encounter. Remember, this is a home match for the Trinbago Knight Riders. Match partners, 9 sanitary napkins. Match partner for today's contest. We're getting ready for action, and to take you through the first Bishop and Santner. Making their final preparations as we get set for this mouth-watering contest. The defending champions up against the team that has won this tournament the most times. 3 victories for the Knight Riders up against 2 for the Barbados Tridents. Jason Holder, been very successful captain. The last season, if you gauge success on championship wins, Tridents will be pleased with their efforts so far. Playing a very high-risk brand when they're batting. I'm interested to see how they go today. The Knight Riders, well, they've started off strongly in this tournament. 2 from 2 for them. And this man in particular has been destructive at the top, as we've come to expect from him. Excellent news, blue skies. Hopefully it stays this way for the duration of this match, and we can get the full complement of 20 overs. Still on Narine, 2 half centuries in his 2 outings so far, at a good strike rate as well. So it's been a supreme return to competitive cricket. And his partner in crime, Lendl Simmons, did an exceptional 2019 season where he scored 430 runs, struggling his first 2 matches in 2020. And the Trinbago Knight Riders will be expecting that he can come good. And Jason Holder winning the toss and opting to bowl first, and understandably so. We saw what happened in their last match against the Zooks, where that was rain affected. So almost set for live action. Along with Leslie Reifer Jr., the men in charge. First ball up. to Jason Olafish yesterday in those matches. We saw that extra bounce. I'm intrigued to see what Jason could.
Well, Jason was very good for the Tridents last year. He got the most wickets in the power play, 12 in Hero CPL. So he swings that new ball away. And of course, being you get that bounce as we usually see. What will be important to look at is based on what we saw yesterday with the second game between the Talawas and the Amazon Warriors, is how the batting team adapts quickly to whatever conditions present itself, whether rotation of strike becomes a bigger factor in between the boundaries or whether it's a natural boundary hitting surface.
Pollard alluded to that at the toss in terms of assessment of the conditions here and really setting the tone for what is to come. That match you're referring to yesterday, the lowest score in CPL history, being defended successfully, 118 for the Amazon Warriors, and Jamaica Talawas, well, they limped to 104 of their allotment, losing by 14 runs. Certain Sunil Narine is going to assess anything. He has his role and he will continue to play the way he plays, which is fearless inside the power play, trying to maximize that. But having scored 2 half centuries consecutively, is there more of a responsibility on his shoulder?
It's a good question, actually. Come back to that. Single take. Well, first of all, when I say assess a surface, it does not mean that you stop trying to play whatever shots are available. It means that you'll assess bounce, you'll assess pace, lateral movement, and maybe look to play in certain areas and cut out certain areas. So it doesn't mean that Narine has to not be aggressive. But for example, where I was so disappointed with the Talawas yesterday, I mean, big time, I can't express how disappointed I was in the Talawas yesterday. We're in the rainforest match center right here, different color of the rainforest actually, it's the rainforest. Is to be able, at least in between your boundary shots, to get bat and ball, rotate strike. That should have been one with short fine leg having to move and slide. One without loss. Simmons hasn't gotten a score after his successful series in 2019. Calmez. Anything on leg stump should be pushed into the onside, at least for one. And we know Calmez gets that ball to in-swing a lot, to drift in.
Yes, and that's reflected in the field that he has. A long on in position, as well as the deep backward square. So no third man on the boundary for Calmez, because as you mentioned, that ability to get the ball to jog back into the right-handed batsman.
So it will be a little bit of a challenge presented. And for the left-handed Sunil, Jayden Seals, a really excellent start to his T20 career. Was he harbors for playing in the longest version Test cricket, that is.
You do with a youngster like that, based on what you, this to me is the most difficult format to make your entrance to senior cricket because of the 100-mile-per-hour attitude of batsmen. I ask you, how do you further his career?
We've seen many players who've fallen by the wayside in pursuit of a T20 career. He seems to be very adamant about his aspirations in playing that longer format, longest format that is. And I really want to see him carrying through with those ambitions. You can fall in the rut of pursuing that T20 sort of career. And his experience in this tournament, I'm hoping for his sake and for the sake of West Indies cricket, doesn't alter that ambition.
Just clarify that question. I'm talking generally about his progression to the next level in whatever format.
I think he has to learn, and learn quickly, adapt to conditions, learn from the senior players around him, and that is the beauty of this tournament in particular. Gives him that opportunity to interact with players of international repute. And the more knowledge he can gather from these players who have been there before at the international level. So it's an opportunity for him to feed off, to get information, to get knowledge of the likes of Dwayne Bravo, also Fidel Edwards as well in this tournament. So not only in his own dressing room, but I'd like to see him having those conversations with other players, West Indian and overseas as well. Of course, commentators as well. Ian Bishop can give him some advice too.
He was out of it. Two without loss.
Look at this movement here from Calmiers, and this is what we expect from him with that action with the new ball. Exaggerated movement off the pitch.
Start for Jason Holder and for Kyle Mears. 13 deliveries, 11 dot balls, no boundaries. Of course, I didn't have a score, and I know that fans of the Tridents, whether in Barbados or sprinkled around elsewhere, are glued to this.